recording the session. We stream it to YouTube. There it is. But just so you know, we are, it's only streaming my my webcam as I'm spotlighted. I'm sorry for all those people who are here regularly and have to hear me say that every single time, but there we go. So, but that does mean that if you wish to go back to YouTube and replay any of these sessions, then they are there waiting for you. So the way that these sessions work, if you haven't been before, is that I'll talk about mindfulness for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll move on to a meditation practice. And don't worry if you've never practiced before, I'm going to guide you through everything. And then for the last few minutes, we open up the chat box. You guys can let me know how you found the meditation, what you noticed, ask me any questions. And then at what is 8 p.m. where I am, so in half an hour's time, you guys can unmute and we have the open mic session and you can all hang out. So just to introduce myself, firstly, as I said, my name is Solomon. I'm here in the UK. I'm in a little city called Brighton, the south coast next to London, about an hour south of London. And I am a mindfulness teacher here with StudyStream and at other universities in the UK. I run courses and workshops. And we run these sessions regularly every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at these times. For the university students sessions. So the theme for today's session is around creativity and mindfulness. I think mindfulness ultimately is about how we pay attention and the quality of our attention and awareness. And so while through mindfulness we can help increase focus and productivity, awareness of emotions, we can also become more creative because it allows us to step out of what we call autopilot. Autopilot we can think of as how we tend to be operating quite a lot of the time, actually. How when we're going about our day-to-day lives and we're not really making conscious decisions, we're not super aware of everything that's going, you know, so maybe you are you could be having a conversation with someone, perhaps even, and the kind of conversation ticks along, but you're not necessarily aware of the dynamic, of all the subtleties of everything that's taken place. It's kind of happening automatically. Or maybe you walk to the shops and sometimes you might end up at the shop and realize, oh, I actually missed the journey here. I was kind of just in my own head, or maybe we were listening to something else, distracted. And so this we can call autopilot. We're also operating on autopilot when we are behaving habitually. So we develop habits, which while being really helpful and to get through life without having to think through consciously everything else, what it does mean is in time, as we grow up, more and more of our lives are done with less awareness. We kind of behave more and more automatically. And this tends to stifle creativity. There tends to be less and less room available for noticing, for creating connections with new ideas, and just generally having this space in our minds that is free, that enables new ideas and fresh thinking to come about. So what we could really benefit from is a way to clear and open up our minds, to unhook us from that automatic way of thinking, to shift from what we call the doing mode of mind, where our minds are very narrow and focused and engaged in a particular task, to opening up a little bit, to developing our peripheral vision and seeing everything else that that moment has to offer us. And you can bring this type of awareness to everything that you do, whether it is drinking a cup of coffee or eating some chocolate, for example. We can do that in an automatic way. Sometimes we eat our meals and before we know it, we've eaten the bowl of food in front of us, but we haven't necessarily been really paying attention to the experience. And in some ways, that's just a little bit of a shame. Maybe there are some really tasty flavors or some vibrant colors or some really enjoyable textures. So we just tend to lose out on some experiences in life that are just easily available to us because we're lost in thought and maybe already anticipating the things that we're going to go on to and do next. So at the end of this, I'll encourage you to do something that you tend to do habitually, something that you do every day, and then try and slow it down and really pay attention to what the experience is. So what we're noticing here is that the approach and the attitude that we bring to an experience really in many ways determines how we experience it, really affects it. So today we're going to work with a meditation, which is a meditation that just asks us repeatedly to come back to one point of focus, which is going to be our breath and movement of the breath in the body. And we're going to notice how easily our minds get distracted and get lost in thoughts. And we get stuck in habitual automatic ways of processing information. And our task always is just to notice when this has happened, bring our minds back to the present moment, and just observe that mind wandering off and coming back. And in time, if we do this enough, we strengthen that mindfulness muscle to come back to the present so we can tune into the moment and experience it more fully. And as well, we were talking about creativity. We create that space in the mind where it is operating less automatically. There is more of an opportunity for new ideas and connections between those ideas to emerge. So a lot of words there, a lot of thinking, and we're now going to be switching a little bit more into the being mode of mind as we come into the meditation. So to do this, we offer people that whenever we begin a practice to approach it with what I call beginner we've never lived before. So it is genuinely a unique moment. So Kiana's just said, repeat, please. Oh, I froze. Thank you so much. So what I was saying was that we are able to bring back the mind time and time again so that we can create this mindset where we are approaching things with a beginner's mind, which means that we just come to the experience as if we never have been here before, which in many ways is genuinely true. Even if it feels like we've done it before, we never truly have, because we've never been in this moment practicing it in this way with wherever our mind is at of beginner's mind. So guys, as I always say, if anything during the practice doesn't quite feel right, if it feels a little bit uncomfortable, always know that you have a choice. You can always take a pause, take a time out, do what you need to do to look after yourselves. Okay, so always know that you have that choice. But otherwise, let's move into the practice. Give our bodies a little stretch, a little gentle massage where the body would appreciate that. Noticing if there's any tension or tightness. And just noticing how that feels as we do it, particularly if we've been sitting by a computer for a lot of the day. And then when we're happy with that, we can allow the body to settle down and become still. And then just allow the eyes to gradually close shut. So we really bring our focus, bring our attention inside. We find a way of sitting that feels comfortable, but also awake and alert. So we're giving this signal to the mind and body that we're here to pay attention to this experience. Just allowing the body to settle down into gravity, letting it be held and supported by the seat beneath you. And begin by tuning into the world around you. And it might be noisy, inside or outside. You may hear cars or wind, rain, or other people. Whatever it is, just paying attention to the sounds for a moment. And as best you can, just remaining open to them, rather than being drawn into them. Notice how they rise and fall. They come and go. Without any sense that you need to change anything. Simply listening to this constantly changing landscape of sounds for a few moments. Sounds from all directions. And then gathering up your awareness and focusing the attention down in your feet. Seeing if you can feel the floor beneath them. Noticing if they feel warm or cold. Perhaps tingly or a little achy. So paying attention to the sensations themselves, feeling them rather than thinking about them. And just like with sounds, noticing how the sensations rise and fall, come and go. And if there are no sensations or few sensations, just noticing this too. Now gently moving your awareness through the whole body and feeling the sensations in a similar way. So how do your legs feel? Just pausing for a moment here to soak up the sensations. And slowly moving the awareness up to the pelvis, into your stomach and lower back. And up to your chest and your upper back. And feeling the rise and fall of the breath for a few moments here. And now noticing how your arms feel. Moving your awareness to your shoulders. Pausing here for a moment. And then moving on to the neck and the head. And seeing how they feel. Expanding the awareness now for a minute or so, tuning into the sensations of the whole body. As best you can, not trying to change anything at all, just simply accepting whatever you find, and however you're finding it. Now allowing the awareness to gather around the sensations of the breath in the body. So where do you feel the breath most strongly, most clearly? In the stomach, the ribs, the shoulders, maybe the nose. So being curious about the actual experience, without any expectation or judgment. Just accepting whatever you find. And however you notice this practice make you feel, whether it's calm or happy, or frustrated or bored, just knowing that the awareness of this is the practice itself. There's no need to feel any particular way. As you very gently rest your awareness within the whole torso, the upper part of the body, seeing if you can feel the stomach rising as you breathe in and falling back as you breathe out. Seeing if you can feel any movement and sensations in the side of the body. Or in the back of the body. And becoming aware of the qualities of your breath throughout the torso, throughout the upper half of the body. Is the breathing fast or slow? Are the breaths shallow, or do they feel deep? Do the breaths feel smooth, or a little ragged? So being careful not to force or strain or change the breath in any way, just with precise awareness of the sensations and the movement of the breath. Just following it as it rocks the body. And from time to time, your mind will wander. Thoughts will capture your attention. And when this happens, knowing that this isn't a problem. This is what our minds are designed to do in many ways, to think. So just gently acknowledge where your mind went. And then bring the awareness back again to wherever you notice the sensations of breathing are the clearest and strongest. Remembering that thoughts are not facts, even those that claim to be. We don't need to believe in whatever our minds think up. We can just let go of being caught up by them, noticing how they're continually changing one moment to the next. And just the way that the breath always changes and moves. So do our thoughts. And each time your mind gets caught up in the automatic thinking, you can just gently acknowledge them, maybe by silently saying to yourself, thinking, thinking. or maybe worrying, or whatever feels most appropriate. And then return your attention to the rise and fall of the breath. Following the breath all the way in and all the way out. Remembering each time you notice the mind wanders, to allow yourself kindness and patience. So as we begin to bring this practice to a close, once again tuning into the sounds that you can hear all around you. Sounds near and sounds far, in all directions. Maybe noticing if there's anything that you can smell, any aromas passing by. And having a sense of how the body feels. Any stiffness, perhaps, or relaxation. Maybe the feeling of clothes against the skin. And then listening out for the bell. And so with the sound of that bell, signals our transition out of the practice. We can gradually and gently bring a little bit of movement back into the body as we began. A gentle stretch or massage. No need to rush to do anything. When you're ready, you can just allow your eyes to open and maybe take in the room around you. Just soak up whatever happens to be in your eye line, tuning into what's here. And also the faces on screen, the community of people who you've shared this practice with. Well, thank you guys for being here for the practice tonight. We have the chat box open for you to send me messages. You just need to find my name, Solomon. And it would be really interesting to know how you found that practice. How was your mind? Did your mind feel calm? Did it feel still? Or maybe it felt full of thoughts and busyness? Was there an awareness of this automatic, habitual pattern of thinking that kind of came into the experience, and it's a real effort required to unhook from it and just come back to the very simple but quite challenging task of tuning into the sensations of breathing? How did you find that as a practice? And secondly, what was your reaction to what you found? If you did find that your mind wasn't particularly still for this practice, was there any sense of frustration or judgment? Also, if you'd like to ask me any questions, then please do. And it's always nice if you want to include your name and maybe where you are in the world. And I can read through a couple of these in the next couple of minutes that we have left. It's one of the things with a meditation practice. It's very difficult to either not have certain expectations of what the practice should be, what the experience should feel like, and then to judge ourselves according to this criteria that we have in our minds. Unfortunately, meditation has a bit of a branding problem. A lot of us think of meditation or mindfulness and we imagine often quite beautiful people sitting in beautiful places with blissed out expressions on their face, having cleared their mind of any thought or problem that could possibly be there. And the reality is often quite difficult. It can be really quite challenging. So I think it's helpful if we bit by bit together spread the news that even though on the outside it may seem that all of us are super tranquil, often inside there's a whole world of busyness that's going on. And sometimes that can feel enjoyable when we unhook from it. And sometimes it can be a little bit uncomfortable as we get caught up in it. So let's have a look. I've got a couple of messages come in. Thank you. I was having a panic attack, and after that, I always feel tired and not in the mood to study. I didn't know mindfulness sessions work a lot for these kinds of situations. Now I feel much better to go back to study. Your vibe is so beautiful, by the way. Oh, well, thank you so much. And thank you for joining. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so sorry that you were having a panic attack. That sounds really challenging. I'm really glad you were able to be here. And yeah, one of the things hopefully that this can help with is the ability to kind of relax, reset, and go back to, if it is your studies, then to go back to that. Okay, we have another message. My mind felt like it was just huge and filled with so many thoughts. And I was kind of struggling with bringing myself to accept and not judge anything that comes to mind, since the goal is to just be aware and notice, which actually was very helpful since I automatically found myself judging every sensation and feeling. Yeah, great comment. Again, thank you. So common. If that's not a universal experience, I don't know what is. That immediate sense of judgment, that immediate sense of, am I doing this right? Yeah, bringing acceptance, not judging anything. It's so much of the time in ordinary day-to-day life, everything is about judgment, right? Do we like this? Do we not like that? Do I want more? Do I want less? How am I doing in comparison to other people? Am I where I should be? So it's really quite a unique experience to have the opportunity to just say, yeah, for the next bit of time, I'm just going to suspend and let all of that go. And maybe bit by bit, where it's beneficial, we can allow that to flow into our lives. Someone says, I'm kind of sad that I couldn't join earlier, but breathing helps me a lot when I'm not feeling good with myself. Kind of reminds me that we are here. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Breathing, there are many reasons that we often use the breath as the focus for our attention in a mindfulness practice. One of them is that it's a reminder of our aliveness. In and of ourselves, it can create that vibrancy of aliveness, but also it can connect us to other people as well, our shared common humanity. Because we remember everyone's having this same experience. We are all here breathing moment by moment, tuning in to that presence. So thank you for that. Someone says, this is my, hi, this is the first of these mindfulness sessions I've been able to tune into, and I really liked it. My uni schedule is crazy right now, and it was very nice to just sit and be still and calm for a while. My mind is always racing, but I got to get some silence there for a while, which was really nice. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for joining us. And yeah, in some ways, if that's something that we can offer, just a space for silence, for relative amounts of quiet. And I'm really glad you could join for that. And yeah, uni schedule is crazy. I'm sure many people in this room can relate to that. And the mind always feeling a little bit racing. I can definitely relate to that. Someone says, any tips to accept or have less of a judgment of the thoughts we get throughout the day? Yeah. So one tip I would have is, if you find yourself getting caught up with a little bit of judgment or self-criticism, essentially what we're trying to do is just pause from that. We're inside the thought. We believe it to be true. So just working with the practice that we did today, as soon as we're able to notice that that's what's happening, we can refocus our attention to a sensation in the body. And that can give us some space to step outside of that thought and see that just like the breath comes and goes, just like clouds pass by in the sky, in a similar way, the thoughts come and go. And as I said during that practice, thoughts are not facts. We don't have to believe them, even though they seem very convincing at the time. So I'd really find any way to pause and take a step back. And for me, that would be noticing that there's a thought that's getting me down, coming into the breath, feeling it move in the body. And just that can create that little space, that little gap for us to recognize that, oh, that's actually just a thought. I don't have to believe it. Okay. Where are we up to? I'm aware I'm going over time, but we're getting such amazing things being written in that I'm just going to keep going for a couple more minutes. And in fact, let me just mention now that I'm thinking about maybe what we can do with this section of the sessions is that we can begin the open mic kind of for this part of the session. So instead of you guys, I mean, you're welcome to type in as well, but maybe we can make this a bit more of a conversation. We had to set it up like this at the beginning for various reasons. But I hope in future, maybe even next session or next week, we can just, you guys can just let me know. You can put up a hand and I can call on you and we can just have a chat rather than the typing. Okay, we have someone saying thanks. Thank you, Solomon. Mindfulness helps me a lot with my anxiety. My name is Dario. I'm from Latin America. Nice, thank you, Dario. Whereabouts in Latin America are you? Tell me. Ozan says, I just want to thank you. I have a really important exam on Friday. It helps me feel really good. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Thank you. Kiana says, it felt like my mind was exploring my body. Oh, I like that. Yeah, distraction was still there. I knew it was normal. So my mind stayed calm. That's the amazing thing, right? Even if the mind is kind of crazy, if we can just normalize it and accept it, then actually the experiences can be had radically different. Hello, I'm from the Philippines. It's 3 a.m. in my country right now. What are you doing? Go to bed. No, that was me. Don't go to bed. Do what you want to do. Thank you for the guided meditation. I always forgot that I also need, oh, hang on, it's gone. Oh dear, it's gone. I always forgot that I also need to rest, slow down and listen to my senses. It helps me to be calm since I'm cramming my papers. Have a nice day. Beautiful. Thank you so much, B. Hannibal says, hey, good to be back. My mind was pretty concentrated, but I felt emotionless. Also, that one fly flying around the room got my attention quite a lot. Yeah, I feel so much better. My mind is refreshed since I've had a horrible time in my life lately. Thank you. Oh, Hannibal, you're so welcome back. It was really nice to see your face pop up again, because it has been a little bit of time, hasn't it? So I hope you're doing okay. I hope to see you here more often. And yeah, always feel free to check in and let us know how you're getting on and if we can support you. Thank you. A couple more. Oh, someone says, I think about the idea that we could chat. That's a great idea. We could try it out next week. Yeah, I think maybe we'll try it out next week. I always lose track of time during the day. Any suggestions? Yeah, so something I used to do was set little reminders on my phone all the time to just bring me back, to remind me, because I would often lose track. And based on the theme of today's session, just kind of run on automatic, get to the end of the day, realize I hadn't really been present for all that much. And I was really struggling to have those little moments where I come back to myself and have that moment of awareness. So I used to just set reminders on my phone, so it'd beep and buzz, and I had a particular sound that would go off. So I knew that it wasn't a text or a call or whatever. I knew that that was just a reminder. And I would just hear that sound or feel that vibration and just take a pause. It could be for a split second, it could be 5 seconds, whatever it may be, and just take a breath. And I found that solidly throughout the day, occasionally, was really helpful. Thank you for the session. I missed a few sessions and I feel I lost some progress, but I'm glad to be back. Glad you're back. No worries. Kiana says, yeah, we're supposed to do that on the taster sessions about the chatting. Were we? Was that a thing? Did I say that? She's nodding. Okay, I don't remember saying that, but fair enough. I trust your brain more than my brain, so I'm sure you're right. Okay, so what day is it today? Wednesday. Friday. I'm not here on Friday. We have, do I? No, I think we have Ollie who's going to run the session on Friday. Kiana's not happy about that, I don't think. I'm going to ignore that square of that anger being projected at me. I'm joking. So Ollie's going to run the session on Friday. I will be back on Monday, and how about we give that a trial on Monday? For this bit, we do open mic and we just have a chat and we see how that goes. Yeah, I think we can do that. We're mature enough for that, aren't we, guys? Who's mature enough? Anyone? No, some hands up. Some people aren't too sure if they can handle that. Okay, it is 7 minutes past 8. I'm going to go. Enjoy your days and evenings. Have fun, guys. See you soon. Bye.